that I've noticed is that a lot of people seem to have a very deep need to find a romantic partner or a soulmate, and it seems to be really ingrained in a lot of people, whether they're logical people or touchy-feely people, introverts or extroverts. Everyone seems to have that really deep-rooted desire to have a romantic partner, even a soulmate, some would say. Why do you think that is?
I think, you know, and I'm open to being wrong, but I think that a lot of us, like especially in the Western, capitalism kind of model of being that we are in, or society, whatever, however you want to say it,
Mhm,
really hold on to that because it's been sold to us like
mhm,
so much from the fairy tales, from the stories, from the movies, from the books. I mean, I remember like being really indoctrinated by Harlequin books as a very young teen, right? We
mhm,
have all those little like those romance novels. I mean, it's just so ingrained. And I think like for the probably the longest time in human history that hasn't been the case. Certainly there was romantic love. I'm not saying there wasn't, but it wasn't so idolized that, oh, you have to have a soulmate. And to me, like a lot of that feeling of like wanting to be whole, but by having a partner that sees you is more like a spiritual longing. It's like that throughout human history, that's been met by the spiritual search
mhm.
of the human being. Um, and people, um, you know, uh, I mean, the love of your life doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner. It can be your grandmother. It can be your platonic friend. It can be, you know, um, something that you give or it can be like your relationship to the divine, to God, maybe, like and then we put it like in categories, right? Like, oh, somebody who has that relationship to the divine, they have to be like a nun or a priest. And that's not necessarily true. I think lay people can have that love
Mhm,
for the divine, like to be strong and guiding for their lives
mhm,
and still have like a family. Um, I think we put too much on our relationships, on that romantic relationship, that we think one person could meet all our needs
mhm,
when all our needs should be met in community
mhm.
by the whole, not just one person. It's
Yeah,
too much for one person,
yeah, yeah.
I think.
Definitely agree with that last part. Like I heard someone say before something like, we have made the spouse a replacement for God, and that person has to be your everything." And it kind of sounds romantic when you're saying it as a vow. Okay, he's my everything. He's my provider, my
Mhm.
best friend, my caretaker, my so on and so forth. That's a lot of different roles to live up to. It is a lot,
It
and I think you
is.
might be putting a little bit too much pressure on your romantic other. I'm sure they're a wonderful person. That's a
Yeah,
little bit too much. Yeah.
I agree. It's too much. It's too much pressure. And
Mhm.
then, we demonize people being unfaithful or being, you know, like when, not that I'm advocating for infidelity or anything like
Mhm.
that, right?
Mhm.
But, I mean, there are people who aren't monogamous and that's not the way they move through the world,
Mhm.
and I don't know.